Hi there, welcome to the latest breaking news within the Noah Presgrove case community. Justin Roy has spoken out and made an official post on the Army page in regards to an imposter. Could that possibly link to this recent debacle and drama and conflict that's occurred online between the likes of Justin Roy and some of the Presgrove family members? Some of you might be wondering, how is it even possible? Well, some days ago, whether I made it in the video or comments elsewhere, I was highlighting the possibility of, could a person pretending to be Justin Roy have contacted the family and deceived them, kind of creating a bit of divide and conquer in between the real people to make things within the community as a whole implode on itself. So there's conflict, there is drama, time wastage, focus being elsewhere when it should be on the case. Was there some kind of informant or spy set out to cause division? That's what I want to talk about today briefly. And I'm going to show you Justin Roy's response in just a second. But as for the backstory behind this, I was wondering when I came about with the idea originally, is it possible for both sides of the party to be in the right? So what the family, well, some of the family have said about Justin Roy, could it be true what they're saying? Could it also be true that with the real Justin Roy defending himself, what he said in defense is true too? How can both be right when normally one would have to be wrong? But then look at it within the case itself of Noah Presgrove when it comes to Caden Pressey and Tyler Hardy. Caden Pressey saw one thing when it came to the scene of Noah's body. Tyler Hardy saw a different perspective. But supposedly both individuals are right based off their own individual experiences, but there was a middleman factor, literally, which changed it for one person over the other. And just to explain that a bit clearer, when it came to Noah being found on the highway, from Caden Pressey's personal timeline, recollection of thoughts, what he remembers, what he witnessed, at around 5:20 in the morning, September 4th, Monday, 2023, which was Labour Day, upon reaching the highway, with hearing the news of the death of Noah, Caden Pressey said he saw Noah's body sprawled out as for the arms, legs, but kind of on the side with the neck twisted the other way, wearing black shorts. But when Tyler Hardy got there at around 5:43 onwards, long gone by, Caden Pressey's timing, because Caden left supposedly at 5:30 from what he says. When Tyler Hardy got there, Tyler said there was something in the middle of the road, supposedly the shorts, but they weren't the black ones. Turned out to be the white shorts, which is obviously weird. There's a change there. That Noah was naked, which is weird because Caden said Noah wasn't. But at the end of the day, both can be right. And there is talk within the middle. During the period of when Caden wasn't there and when Tyler hadn't arrived, some people were already there in between it, adjusting the body, replacing the shorts, taking the black ones away, possible evidence, hiding it, getting rid temporarily, things like that. And supposedly hidden recorded footage which shows it all happening, not been released publicly. I guess you wouldn't expect it to. But if it's all true in how it goes, then it shows that Caden and Tyler are both right in their own individual experiences. But can it cross over with the Justin Roy situation and the family's fallout with different people? Well, you can let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. But let's just see it from Justin's point of view, as in what's just gone on recently. So this was posted 7 hours ago by Justin Roy, and it reads, "So there's another fake profile of me inboxing people. Wow. Please be aware of this. I'm only here for truth and justice for Noah. That's it. Please continue to pray for truth, justice, and integrity of the investigation." So to say that there is another fake profile obviously means it's happened in the past too. And within the past, when the family of Noah Presgrove was saying how Justin Roy would be messaging or communicating and keep on pushing and pushing, that he needed to take a step back. Was it really the real Justin Roy back then from what the family experienced? Or could it have been one of these so-called fake profiles that was inboxing people? I'm guessing inboxing is basically emailing people, but then can it apply to DMs too? Whether that be on Facebook, Twitter, or would it just be emails only? Regardless, it's a form of communication. And the reason why anyone would create fake profiles of another person is to tarnish their reputation. Look, I've experienced it myself, and I can share a little bit more with you later on in this video. Be sure to stick about. But I can understand the damage it can cause, the confusion too, and how some people can be very convinced by the fake profiles to create a negative false image of the real individual. So then when you do confront the real individual, you've not really got many positive things to say. So if Justin Roy was in that situation, it would explain why Justin Roy is completely taken back and confused as for the whole situation and the fallout with some of the family members. Do you think that's the case? But who would be responsible? Who has major issues with Justin Roy? Take in consideration, the more vocal you are, the more you put yourself out there, whether that be online or in real life, through interviews, you can become a bit of a marked target and you can be attacked because people may see you as a threat. If you keep on pushing and you don't really show many signs of stepping back, people may take it upon themselves to ensure that you step back, either by scaring you off, threatening you, or indirectly in a cowardly way, trying to just paint a bad picture of you. So all the internal works and everything that you've built up, your reputation, your credibility, is in tatters because of an impersonator that acts out. Now take in mind, when you imitate someone, it can be a bit obvious at times when it's fake. So those are certain factors, measuring tools you can use. And we'll get into a bit more of that because when analysing it from my situation, it didn't always work out. So just let that thought bubble away in your mind for a second. What's the responses from the community? What do people have to say? Any add-ons? Any updates? Jessica, is the Justice page, the family-run one, gone? Or did they just kick me off? Not a big deal if they did, just wondering. So Jessica work may have been kicked off, but why? Chaz says it's still there, still present. Jessica says, I guess they kicked me off. Why would Jessica get kicked off? Is it a comment she made recently? I wonder. Michael says they're kicking everyone off for even having a smile on their face whilst looking at their page. They kicked me off a few days ago and I only ever made one post, which was the petition post that they approved the family. It's sad how they're handling things. So if people are still being kicked off, this is days after the anniversary. Yes, it's still raw and people are dealing with emotions, but to be possibly taking it out on other members of the general public trying to help in the case, it seems like a negative chain of effects, but it seems to come from both sides. You got people from the Justice page being kicked off, and then supposedly people from the Army page being kicked off. It's a little bit of a shambles. But at the end of the day, at least to my knowledge, if you're kicked off the Justice page, if you're only kicked, it's not really a massive deal because at the end of the day, that page is still publicly viewable. If you was to get kicked off the Facebook page of the Army one, providing it's still a private page, I'm not too sure of, then you would be missing out because you wouldn't have access to a private page. You need to be a member on it in order to see the contents, the comments and everything. But if it's already public, the page, it doesn't matter if you're a member or not. And I think that applies to the odd alternative Reddit page in the past, still viewable. So it's not the end of the world, but you can understand why from whichever side people may feel betrayed or stabbed in the back or kind of insulted. You know, they tried helping and now they've just been kicked or silenced. Not a good look. But some may have the reasons behind it from both sides. We're not directly here just for this, but it's interesting to see that it's supposedly still going on. George says, I got booted as well. Jessica says, this whole time, so sad, I'll continue to pray. Wondering if they booted Partners in True Crime off the place as well. I don't know. Has Partners in True Crime been booted from the Justice page? Me personally, I don't think so, but you'd have to check the member list if that's even possible. Heather says, I got kicked off the page too. Patricia, good question. Laura, never been there and too weird to attempt going there now. Yep. Sherry, yep, being kicked as well. And Lilia, wonder what I have done right to be able to stay on that page. Maybe I'm under the radar because I don't participate much there. Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't really say anything, then you can't really get kicked. Or if you say all the right things, which the family want to hear, then you're probably not going to get kicked. Laura there in response to Justin's situation, we know who you are and why you're here. Nothing good will come to them if they attempt to lie or to me about you. I've decided I'm here for Noah's final wrestling match. Not literally, I'm guessing. Melanie says, it's really starting to seem like someone is actively trying to discredit you and take you down. Please be careful and stay safe. What's going on here? Michael says, there is an active campaign of this very sort trying to dismantle this group. People are being attacked digitally in more than one way. We are working on finding them. Patricia, I agree. In my opinion, it looks like they started with the media coverage and now they're attacking the Facebook groups for Noah. Does the family know about the fake post? The fake post. What's that all about? I've not seen a fake post. Or does Patricia mean the post by the real Justin Roy talking about the fake account out there? Would it put things in a different perspective for some of the family members that may have an issue with Justin Roy? Misunderstanding, a big one. Who knows? Casey says, did you find it now? No response. Jessica, the devil is still at work trying to take you down, Justin Roy, because you are full of Jesus and the truth. Praying for you and your family. Never give up. You're correct in your gut feeling. Tamila, we know your intentions are pure. I've had to reach out to you recently stating my heart was heavy. You were tired, so I never got to tell you why. Dealing with my own case. Patricia, keep strong, keep going. I'm worried that all media coverage had stopped. Looking back, started with Jan Friorillo's post that was taken down. Why? Then you had Partners in True Crime just going quiet publicly, but still in the background supposedly, and maybe some other things along the way. Certain YouTube channels as well going quiet. Not as much coverage of Noah Presgrove on YouTube. As for the really big channels, well, they never stick around on one case. You always come and go with one case, move on to another, move on to another. That's what these big channels do. Difference is with my channel, I just lock on to one case because it works for me. It's easier to handle. Just as a bit of a backstory, if you didn't know, if it was to do multiple cases one after another every single day, it just wouldn't be possible. And even if I did spread it out, it just feels a bit empty and not as fulfilling, but also more chances to get mixed up and muddled with all the names, right? Because these cases can be quite complex. So to get an understanding, you got to nail down and just focus at one at a time. Jeffrey says, Justin, someone really doesn't want the truth to come out. Glad you're still involved. Noah and his family need you. Vanessa Salazar says, nobody could ever change my mind about you. I know you're a man of God, a good soul fighter for justice. Only person who made a page of me was Trav Davison. So Vanessa Salazar has had an impersonation account made to discredit her. Is that true, Vanessa? Is that what you mean? And how do you know it was Trav Davison? How did you find out that? Lalina, don't sweat the small stuff. Sad people have to stoop that low, but we all know why you are here. So that's pretty much it for the post. Be sure to let me know your thoughts down below. Now it's time for me to share with you my personal experience and as to the damage it can cause. The reality is from my own experiences, I've been attacked many times. It doesn't matter what case I cover, humans will have gay obsessions with me to the point where they will create false accounts, impersonation accounts of me, and say bad things to other people, trying to imitate me in hopes that the people that they convince pull the wool over their eyes, they've got a negative first-hand impression of me, or those that may know me but not know me fully could be convinced by a fake account, so then they don't like me anymore, or they may turn on me too, and then I'm kind of like in the middle of it all thinking, what the hell is going on? That's really the whole aim and purpose, to either discredit someone because they feel threatened by that individual getting too close to the truth, or they just don't like the individual, so that it's over petty reasons. It's very pathetic. This all started from 2020 onwards, when I first started covering cases of missing people, mysteries. Some developed gay obsessions with me, threats made us along the way, content used without my consent, photos, pictures used without consent. And it kind of ramped up as well when covering the Noah Presgrove case. Like, people from the past must have catched up, ghost from the past. It also happened in the Dylan Rounds case in 2022 up to 2023, close to 24. So there's been years and moments, attempts made where people create fake accounts of me. Then they go on another YouTube channel or a live stream and leave comments saying, "Hi, I'm here, how is everyone?" And people are genuinely convinced that it's me, but it's not. Take in mind on YouTube, such as live chats, because that's only where it happened. It didn't happen in a comment section, because those individuals knew that if they left a comment, if people was to click on that channel, it would clearly be a default one and say it's only been created recently, so you'd know it's fake. But in live streams, live Premiere chats, the chat box on the right hand side of the screen, if you leave a comment there, the only person that can see the channel of that fake account would be the channel owner of whatever live stream channel is going live at the time. And not everyone's going to think of doing that. As for the majority, the audience, all the people watching, they can see the comments by the fake account, but they can't check for themselves whether it's the real account or not, because YouTube doesn't allow the feature to click on people's names to view channel. Only the owner of that channel can then check the live chat and all the participants and their channels, whether they're real or not. In the Dylan Rounds case, there was other impersonation accounts created of other people, but the genuine ones were actually watching my videos and said, "Hey ref, could you check that channel and get the URL link of the fake impersonation one and send it to me?" Things like that. Now, I was lucky at the time, because although people didn't know me 100% or didn't follow my channel all the time, people had a rough idea who Warlike Raf was when it came to the Dylan Rounds case, before all the chaos and drama happened where I turned into the black sheep and a lot of people turned on me with time, but it is what it is. But before all that escalating, fake accounts, and a handful of people picked up on it and thought, no, Warlike Raf would never use that language, would never speak in that way, wouldn't ask weird questions or be in a certain negative way. It just stood out. Obviously, humans failed to replicate me because they can't replicate me, just a fact. So because of that, the inaccuracies, the strange behaviour showed up more, so people were more vigilant about it and squashed it, and the awareness was spread. Because whilst an attempt was made to try and spread awareness of like damaging my credibility and tarnishing me on YouTube, so then in the future people are less likely to trust me or watch my videos, all an attempt to break everything down, the people countering it by saying, nope, that's a fake account, the word spread about, so it was a bit easier. So when in the future it came about again and again and again, people were kind of anticipating it, and the same with all the other fake accounts too. But you know what the most pathetic thing was? From the Kenny Veach case to the Dylan Rounds case, the people that attacked me weren't exactly people within the case. It was just random civilians in the community that thought it was a good idea to do that and cause the damage. Whether it be jealousy, pettiness, they didn't like my channel, my coverage, they felt threatened, whatever, they still did it. And those people are the same people, some of which at least claim to be caring about the case and trying to solve it. How pathetic. You know, at the end of the day, let's just say with the Noah Presgrove case, a person or people imitating Justin Roy to tarnish and damage his credibility, if it's people within the case, those responsible for the death of Noah, or those that know what actually happened but are keeping quiet, or people that have been dragged in by family members or partygoers, friends of friends, contacts like hired mercenaries to do the dirty work. Yeah, that's all because of the case. That's all because of trying to hide the truth and try and put someone down who's, you know, on a focal point, who stands out the most, who's been quite vocal. They're a target, take them down now. To squash it, to suppress, repress, to silence. That all makes sense. But in my case, people were so pathetic that they weren't even doing it because they're within the case themselves. They were just doing it because they were civilians. How desperate is that? So considering how bad it was there and messy, because there was a handful of strangers that came onto my channel and had a go at me and paragraphs, and I was like, I have no clue what's going on. I'm completely confused. Just like how Justin Roy may have felt too when people were responding back to him. Were we in the same situations at different times? You never know. So when I did respond back to these strangers and said, well, there is a fake account, about 99.9% of people were understanding and apologised. So it was resolved quickly, and that's with strangers. So there is some hope at least. But still, it can be damaging, and it depends who you are, how well known you are, and how big you are. The bigger you are, or the more responsibilities you have, anything negative against you can harm all that and take things away. So got to be careful. But, you know, the more active you are with stuff, the more of a target you become. And Justin Roy is an example of that online as an example, and even doing his interview. Just like how Caden Pressey put himself out there, and then there was criticism, but also people trying to gaslight him, supposedly. And it was those within the case. So if my situation was somewhat bad and a little bit damaging at the time, and that was by just civilians, imagine what it would be like for someone like Justin Roy, in which he's supposedly being attacked, maybe by those within the case. They're going to have more of a motive. They're probably going to go as far as they can and do much more to inflict damage. If it's just a member of the general public, they're probably just going to prank, joke about. But if it's someone within a case, they've got more of a reason to do what they're doing. Now, I didn't experience that area or that motive, but still, my situation was bad. Justin Roy's could be even worse. Now, could this whole situation link with some of the family members, Robin, Smith, Ashley, Chadwick? Have they ever been contacted by these fake Justin Roy accounts in recent time, or more so in the past? Because Justin Roy has said it's happened back then. Could these fake Justin Roy accounts have left comments and messages trying to pretend to be Justin, but leaving negative comments at times, but not making it too obvious, because then people may think would know it's fake, right? That form of pretending to be someone to throw the spanners in the work, stop the cogs, cause tension, friction, conflict, drama, and then the one on the receiving end is then responding back to the original real person who's completely unaware of the situation, and then there's arguments between one another, and it's just full out, blown out war. And when it comes to key prominent people who just so happen to have an army or an audience behind them, then the audiences are then at war, at heads with one another, and it's just one big clusterfuck. But that's what happened in the Dylan Brown's case, the YouTube Streets community. Fake person comes on in pretending to be someone else, imitates well, causes distrust, trust issues, arguments, misunderstandings, and it all implodes on itself. People couldn't replicate me, but some desperately tried. But as for other people who were imitated, some were more likely to believe in that, the fakeness, and then people couldn't trust one another. So what happened there could be what's happening here. When did it exactly start? Don't know. When did it intensify? And why is it just coming back again? So be on the lookout for a Justin Roy fake profile, supposedly on Facebook. We'll see what happens next. But let me know down below, do you think this fallout with the family and Justin Roy could be because of a fake account pretending to be Justin Roy to cause a big misunderstanding, to tarnish his credibility on the case? Maybe. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.